I think it's absolutely stunning how many people are learning about this really important topic. We've had Holocaust studies at PLU since 40 years ago when Chris Browning came, and I remember as a sophomore in college coming and hearing him when his book Ordinary Men came out, and what a revolutionary thing that was for the university. I think this really connects things in an amazing way now that there's a minor at PLU in Holocaust and Genocide Studies, and that we really have a chance to do something great in the world by sharing this information and building on the compassion of people through their understanding of the atrocities that have happened. So there's a lot that I haven't known about, and that's really surprising to me because I feel like I'm pretty well educated. I feel like my family does a good job of listening to the news and reading the paper. I was trained as a journalist here, but there still is a lot that goes on, and the amount of information that comes to us and where we get it from is kind of disturbing, and really disturbing when you find out how much has happened in the world that we really haven't paid attention to. So I'm really proud of PLU for putting this on, and thankful to the Long Center for their participation in this 40-year celebration of Holocaust studies at PLU.
I went to this specific talk by Dorothy Roberts because she's talking about racism in the U.S. and how it's part of genocide. And I think that's really important because genocide's going on in the U.S. even though nobody calls it that. And in grad school I took a class called the Black Female Body, and we talked about the history of the black female body being marked, and she's talking about all black bodies and torture, and I just think it's really valid that she's here, and I'm glad that she came.
Well, I thought the speaker was really engaging. I think she made a very valid case, and it wasn't at all boring or anything like that. It was very interesting the entire time. It kind of relates to my potential capstone topic. I'm a history major, and I'm talking about the civil rights movement. And so this seemed like it had a lot of really relatable qualities that I think are still very important to consider today and throughout history.
I thought Dr. Roberts' talk was really insightful. We often take for granted that race is socially constructed and not a biological marker that determines anything. And I think that that's something that students especially need to know, because as individuals who come through higher education, we have a burden to educate others and use that education for good. And if we have these fallacies built up in our head, it can be really easy to take the authority that we have with being educated persons and spreading that into the world. And it can be really damaging. So I was excited.